Welcome. Welcome to this lunar eclipse, full moon, Pisces gathering. Um, I'm very excited to dive into this eclipse, to talk about this period in time. Sometimes all these months and things they kind of just mush together, and it's easy to just let days go by, and I definitely do that myself. I'm not super rigid on, oh, this astrology is happening like this, so I have to go out of my way to go do some specific thing. But when you can see what's happening, sometimes things in your life they make more sense, and you're like, okay, this is just part of that cycle. That's just what it's part of, and the cycle is going to end, and the things are going to change, and life is going to go on, and I can choose to maybe make changes in a certain area of life or in a certain direction that are also being supported by other things that are going on beyond me, outside of me, bigger than me, that I'm a part of. We're all part of this collective. We all have our individual self, our individual wants, needs, desires, goals, dispositions, problems, like things we're born into, all these things. And then we have these collective in our family connections, we have our community, we have the bigger thing, our country, our out into the world. And then we also have this unseen world all around us, in multiple layers of energetics that are also at play that we don't even really pay attention to, most of us, most of the time. Sometimes you might be more in tune with that. Sometimes you're really struggling with a really physical thing. You're trying to just get by and you're not really like, I can't focus on some, ethereal thing right now or whatever it is. We all get in these things, but it's not just us living our life. There's so many layers at play. There's forces of good, there's forces of evil. There's the good and evil inside of ourselves that we navigate every day. Um, and this kind of ties into the Pisces North Node, or the Pisces eclipse that we're having, because this axis of Pisces and Virgo is that experience. It is all about the human meets God. Like this, like that vibe. That is Pisces Virgo. Virgo is our South Node right now. So you could look at it as this gathered wisdom, but also the things that if we stay in it too much, we stay stuck in what that energy represents, it's going to make it, we're going to feel that. We're going to feel stuckness. We're going to feel frustration. We're not going to feel that great about what we're doing if we stay in that. And then Pisces being in the North Node is is this next direction collectively that we're all going towards, and it can feel uncomfortable. It can feel unknown. It can feel just like uncertain. But at the same time, there's things that are pulling us to go more towards that. When you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone, especially in your personal chart, like that's how you know when you're like playing in your own North and South node, is those times when you push yourself out of your comfort zone. That is very much the North node energy, and because it always feels good after you do it too. You're like, wow, I did that. Now I'm like, I leveled up myself because I did that push, that thing I didn't want to do. It'd be so nice to just sit back and stay what's comfortable and feels good, but then you don't feel fulfilled. You feel like, wow, what's the point of anything if you're just going to be comfortable all the time? And so the north nodes that are happening collectively right now, they might not be your personal north and south node, but that's where we're at right now. And it's a short transit. It's about, like, I think a year and a half. So it switches around pretty regularly. Um, but it kind of just, it's like nudging the collective in a way. Okay, go over here. All right, now it's like ticking through the clock of like, okay, now we're going on to this one, to this one. But the nodes actually move retrograde. So the next north node is going to be in Aquarius and it's going to go backwards. Not like the normal way that we let go through the seasons. But sorry, I'm getting my daughter keeps having me like start her this game thing for her. Okay, go over there, sis. Go over there. You get distracted really easily. Um, and Preet said, I like being pushed in those uncomfortable spaces. Yeah, I do too. And I forget, do you have other planets in the same sign as your north node? Do you know?
It's my North Node's Capricorn. I don't know.
I think you
I'm,
have other planets in Cancer, right? Besides, you
yeah,
have your sun, and I think you have another.
I think I've got one other, but a lot of mine are in air and fire.
Yeah. So it's interesting too, because if it's like if you have a lot of other planets in the same sign as your North Node, it might feel a little bit less uncomfortable. Like you might be more familiar with that energy. Sometimes when you have no planets in there, it's like really difficult because you're just like, oh my God, I don't know what this is like at all. But also, you're saying you're a Capricorn North Node, and maybe it's just that feeling of the success and accomplishment is so good that it's like, bring me more. I don't care what it takes. I
It's
love
a
that
funny one.
feeling.
You kind of sit in this place of poverty consciousness, and there's this core belief for a lot of people that's sitting there around money, and then to go from a South Node of Cancer into the Capricorn North. I
Yeah.
feel like I have to dip my toes into everything so gently. It's the same with this lifestyle that I'm living. It's taken me a decade to get to where everything's like little slow dips.
And it makes sense too with that as an earth sign in general. Hold on, sis. Hold on 1 second. It makes sense too with earth signs. I think in general they have this way of they all kind of do it in their own way, but of knowing how to get to the next thing. Like there's the steps that need to be taken, and it might not be the quickest thing, the quickest way, but it's there's a higher chance of success in the end or of completion in the end because that's very because it's the grounded way of doing something, and it's very about that process. Everything's that process. Where some of the other stuff like fire sign, it's kind of like, I could mess up a million times and it's kind of fine. And I like doing it like that. And I'll go back and I'll redo it, or I'll just buzz through it really fast, or I'll burn this up and bam, it's like really ridiculously sporadic. Where the earth sign ones are like, I would rather do this slower and do it the right way than have to go back and start it over because that feels like failure and that's super annoying. And at the end of the day, it's like that turtle wins the race kind of vibe. It's like I'll probably get there faster than the fire sign because they had to go back and repeat stuff a million times. So that does make sense. And it also relates to, in a way, to our north and south nodes right now because it's the south node is in Virgo. And there might be this pull to like perfect everything that you're going to do. And this could be a positive, but it could be a negative. And you have to know, you have to be able to gauge in yourself how that's playing out for you. And because it's the South Node, you want to look at the places where it's in the negative in a way. Like, where is it holding? Where am I being held back because of my perfectionism is coming out? Specifically in that area of life where Virgo is in your chart. You'll want to reflect on this part of your chart to get that personal feeling. But if you don't know your chart, it's not that big of a deal either. You can still just look at it in general. But the perfectionism, the picking everything apart, figuring everything, I have to figure it out. before I go to the next thing. I can't go to the next thing until I've completely mastered, figured out, or dissected or understood whatever this other thing is. And the thing with Pisces is it's all about the mystery of life. It can't be understood. What it represents is like it's not God, but it represents what God represents, the energy of that expansion and of that mystery and the things that you cannot grasp, that you cannot touch. It's the pure raw energetics, where Virgo is the grounded physical energy moving through your body. Um, which is also why Virgo is related to the Virgin. That is the symbol for Virgo, is the Virgin. It's also about this purity, this cleanliness, the energy moving effortlessly, like the that frequency of what's the word I'm thinking of? It's like completely true, completely pure, untouched, undirtied, this that virgin essence that is Virgo. And it's not that we're
Christine.
pristine,
Christine.
yeah. That pristine nature, which is also why Virgo gets this rap of like, oh, they love to clean and organize and they have to, and so that's where it comes from. It's about the purification of not just the environment, about everything. It's the body, the mind, the soul. Like people with strong Virgo have like they even if they're not really conscious of it or really like quote unquote spiritual, you know, they have this like instinct to be purifying things as best as they can. Because it does help when we have all the accesses, all the opposites, they're opposite, but they're not completely different from each other. They have a similar core to them. It's two sides of the same coin kind of thing. So the Virgo Pisces is about divinity and it's about God and it's about energy at its core. And the one is disembodied and the one is embodied. And it's funny because it's like, okay, now so we're going towards this disembodied way of navigating, that feels kind of like and with the nodes specifically, especially with the nodes, you're not leaving behind the South Node. You're not leaving behind Virgo and going towards Pisces and saying, I'm just gonna be this like monk on a mountaintop and not live my life and just meditate, or I'm just gonna take a bunch of drugs or whatever the kind of thing that like takes you into this pure consciousness, energetic, disembodied state. It's not about that. It's about being able to be grounded through the South Node and then move into the North Node. Um, and you're never like fully in one or the other, if that makes sense. And so the whole point, to make it just like, what's the point? I don't really know the full point. You're gonna have to decide your own point to everything, but collectively it's like we just had super long transits in Pisces over the last, what was it, like 12 or 14 years or so, with Neptune in Pisces that just ended. Um, we had Saturn in Pisces for 2.5 years that just ended, and they're in between. So they're actually, I think Neptune might be back in Pisces now. Saturn is back in Pisces. Neptune's retrograde at 1 degree Aries, so it's gonna go back in Pisces, like they're right there on that in-between thing. But we just had all these long transits there. We just had all these lessons in Pisces collectively that have been like, I mean, Neptune in Pisces is so extra and pure emphasis into the dissociative, like energetics. And then Saturn came and was like, okay, let's wrap it up. We're in those last final degrees of Neptune. Let's get some freaking structure in here. Like, let's get some intention, some like, we got to make it something that we can use on this earth. Like, we can't just float off into space. It's not what it's about. So we just had these two transits that taught us a lot. Like, if you look back on the time of those transits, you can see in your own self, like, what that inspired in you to where you are now. And now the nodes are going back, and it's like, let's go back, review, and now that we've learned some of these really valuable lessons, we can use that to propel us even further faster with this North Node because the North Node is like, follow the North Star, go into the light, like go that direction. Don't forget where you came from and bring the wisdom from where you came from, but you're looking that way. Like your head is facing the North Node, you could say your back is to the South Node, but you're not, yeah, you get what I'm saying. Like you're not forgetting where you came from, remember the streets. I don't know what I'm thinking. Like it's like represent where you came from, that hard work you put in, that wisdom that you gained, and now like let's up level. But there's just so much support from the past, specifically right now in this North Node, that it's not always like this. It's not always this fresh, that we just experienced a really deep outer planet transit here. And so now it's really still fresh in our system of what that means. And we're gonna go back and we're gonna apply it. Now we're officially applying the new wisdom that we received. And we might mess up, like we're not gonna be perfect, whatever. It's not about that. But we're not turning backwards now. We're not going to sink back and be like overanalyzing and nitpicking ourselves. And now it's like, oh, if I only would have done it this way and this way, and I'm going to sit analyze because that's very Virgo. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. It can analyze itself into to death, like it can just kind of hide away. And again, it's like, oh, this isn't perfect. So I'm going to quit, or I have to wait. I'm going to keep working on it. I'm going to work on it until I die because it's just never going to be good enough. It will never be good enough. It doesn't need to be good enough. That's not the point. The point is to let it be what it is. Be um be open-hearted and be the like Pisces is like this very at its core, like at its best, because this is what we're also dealing with when we're looking at the North Node. We want to look at the best parts of it, the highest way that it is expressed. And remember, these are all archetypes. Okay. So don't get like too, I don't know, like this is part of human nature, right? We all have all these things. But in the Pisces archetype, it is like this sacrificial, devoted, open-hearted, flowing, intuitive, spiritual, like guided, connected, blissed out. Like life is so good because you know that you were a part of God and God is moving through you and like that is pure Pisces at its best. Do you think God is going to be like, oh, well, that's not really good enough for you to present to the world, so it has to be perfect. So you need to go back and you need to keep doing it a million times until you can't live into your purpose that I'm calling you into because it's not good enough right now. Like who you are right now is just not enough. It's not good enough. You got to just keep going. You got to keep purifying. It's like you're never going to purify enough, like, because you're going to keep making mistakes and then you have to keep going back and purifying them or you went back on a goal or something and now it's like you can get into your mind about it, but it's not about, which is understandable, it's like also part of human nature. For some people this is going to be a harder thing to manage than other people. Some people are already like, yeah, I'm not really like that, so it's not that big of a deal. And you could see that in your chart, or you can just see that in your life if you don't even know your chart. You don't need to know your chart, um, because again, all these things are like they're all within all of us. It's just archetypes. But yeah, let's reel it in a little bit with the eclipses. These are happening. Eclipse season is every 6 months or so, every year, every 6 months. And again, it's like going to be in one sign or two signs back and forth for about a year and a half, and then they'll change signs. So there's always these eclipses. Eclipse season is that new moon, full moon in the month of whatever those two signs are that we're dealing with for the nodes. So right now it's Pisces, Virgo, Virgo season, sun's in Virgo, the moon is in Pisces, full moon Pisces, lunar eclipse. And that's on the 7th. That's on this Sunday. Now we're also going to have on the equinox solar eclipse in Virgo, which is Virgo sun, Virgo moon, happening. So the last time, 6 months ago, we were actually switching off the baton of the eclipses from when it was in Aries. So we didn't have a Pisces solar eclipse in Pisces season this past year because it was switching over still. So we actually can go all the way back to last September when we had the first Pisces lunar eclipse last September, which was part of the beginning of that switching over process. So think back, think back to last September, around that time frame. And you can start to see this, what was really amplified, in that Pisces vibe, like I was just talking about, which I already described. Or also look to your chart, see where Pisces is in your chart. That's going to give you like that area of life, that thing. That's what we're amplifying right now. That's what we're looking at right now. That's where like the quick, like, okay, take that away. Oh, you're not taking that away? Let me help you a little bit. We're going to close some doors. You still have free will. You can do whatever you want. The job could be collapsing and you could still be like, I'm going to just keep going. Everything in me and everything around me is saying to quit, to move on. There's another thing, but I'm not going to. I want to stay here. And you can do that all day long. No problem. This is your life. But, you can also go with what is already supporting the new direction, and things are going to be easier that way. So look back to last September, September 18th to be precise, was the lunar eclipse in Pisces. You can also look back 6 months ago, though, to see the last eclipse season, which was on pulled up here, January, March, which was March 14th. We had the lunar eclipse in Virgo, and the solar eclipse on the 29th of March of this past March, solar eclipse in Aries at 8 degrees. So you can also look there, and that's when we first had, I think the nodes shifted this past February, I think it was officially. Is it January? The nodes, okay, they shifted January 29th. So that's the official shift to the new year and a half cycle. This past March, we had like that beginning. Well, actually, the last September, we had the beginning glimpse into it. This past March, we had that first like official solar eclipse with Virgo. Now we're having our lunar eclipse with Pisces, and then later this month, our solar eclipse with Virgo, and then it'll be like that, next February, March, it will have those eclipse seasons, right? So everything's in a 6 month thing. And if you know about the new moon, full moon, kind of the cycle, it's 6 month cycle. So we're always like, if I do I've been doing these particular style of gatherings every new moon, full moon since I think February or January, something around there. And we always be like, okay, look back 6 months ago, look back a year ago, look back 6 months ago. And you can do that with this. But with the eclipses specifically, these are like, if you had to highlight the most prominent 6 month period, it's going to be the times of the eclipse. Like this is the time that's like life is like, okay, these two, those specifically, are in a bigger picture, moving collectively. So it's not that you, like, again, like I'm really a firm believer of like, you don't need to do anything really different because of whatever. Life is going to already present you with all these different things. The most important thing that anybody can do is look to your own inner guidance system, your own connection with God, your own intuition, because you are always getting information on what the next step is to do. It's just dependent on if you're able to hear it or receive it. or you have to build that relationship above all. Like that's number one. And then going into the astrology, like that's another fun thing we can do after you establish number one, because otherwise you're going to be just as confused as any other time with any other tool, because the tool doesn't really, it's not the most important thing. You know what I mean? And I this is and it's funny because the astrology is also relating to that. If there was ever a more important time to build that connection with God, which is always the most important thing to do, but now is like a really strong collective time of saying, like, look, if you haven't already done this in these past transits that we've just spent like over a decade dealing with, you should probably do it now. It's really going to help if you do it now. If you build a strong spiritual connection, if you cleanse your vessel, you cleanse your environment, you have this balance of this Virgo Pisces, it'd be really helpful for what's next. I'm telling you, it's like I'm presenting with you that this will be really helpful for you to do. So it just reinforces that. Okay, I know we spent a lot of time on that, and I do want to talk about the gene key because I really, really love the gene keys. And let me pull it up. This is a really good one too. Like this is it's hard to say like there's not one more thing that's necessarily like more powerful in the gene keys, but they're like if you don't know the gene keys, okay, it's sectioning off like within Pisces, for example, there's maybe 5 or 6 gene keys because it's a specific set of degrees going through. So if it falls within this specific set of degrees, that's the gene key. Within that gene key is a shadow, a gift, and a city. And there's these frequencies that's like it's like a it's words. It's words that have meaning behind them that we associate with emotions, thoughts, ideas. It's contemplative and it's like a process that you can sit and contemplate and meditate on. What does this mean? It's really, really great. I do really love the perspective of it, which is why I like to bring it into these calls. So we have the gene key 63. You can look in your human design, see if you have the 63. It's located in human design. It is in the crown. So it's the triangle that is like the top of the head, like pointed up triangle. So if you look at the crown, you'll see if the 63, which is the one, I don't know how you're looking at me, but if you're looking at your screen, it's the one all the way on the right. And you might have that little number filled in. You might have the whole channel. Doesn't matter if you do, if you don't. You just know that if you do have this, this is a consistent energy that you're consistently playing in. It's part of all of us. Okay. All the jinkies are in all of us. Don't forget that. But this is like something more prominent for you. If you don't have it filled in, it's not as prominent, but as things cycle through all the time, everything's in motion, it'll get highlighted. People you talk to, if they have it, they'll highlight it for you. So this, and my mouse here, 63, the shadow is doubt. Okay. The gift, which is sort of this bridge into the highest expression, and it's the main, like, the main sauce kind of, is inquiry. And the city or the highest frequency is truth. And I don't know if there's like besides love, like truth and love, they're kind of like they're the I don't know if there's nothing really more than that. So it's a really important thing to contemplate on. The name of this gene key is called Reaching the Source. And obviously this is a Pisces gene key located 11 degrees 22 minutes to 17 degrees of Pisces. The physiology or the body part that it's associated with is the pineal gland. And that, like, I'll read you the codon ring because I do think that we did this last time and it was kind of fun. And it ties into an amino acid. And the codon ring is essentially a grouping of a few different gene keys that have a similar message. That's kind of like a broader way of grouping these things together. And I'll read you that really quick and then we'll go briefly into the gene keys, then we can open it up and chat. But this is part of the codon ring of divinity, which includes the 63, the 22, the 36, and 37. And I'm going to read you the little paragraph that's here on the website. So it's deeply connected to the true meaning of the Christ consciousness. The ring of divinity and its four genetic archetypes have the capacity to awaken the highest consciousness inside you and will bring the eventual manifestation of the full divine being into the world. The ring of divinity reveals a great truth, which is the 63. All humans are made equal in this suffering, the 37th gift of equality. Doubt makes us human, the 36th gift of humanity, and leads us to a certain graciousness in the 22nd gift, in respect of how we treat others. Because of its connection to the 22nd gene key, this codon ring has much to do with the transformation of human awareness through suffering. It will bring intense emotional experiences and challenges to your life, but ultimately, this codon group is about redemption. And the amino acid associated with that is proline, which I forgot to look up before this, and what that means we can look it up later. That was fun to do last time. But you can see how with this being a Pisces gene key, and this process from doubt to inquiry to truth. And I was listening to Richard Rudd, he wrote the Gene Keys, his audio clip for this one, because I like to hear what he says about it. And the book is really good too. If you haven't read that, highly, 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 I haven't read the whole thing, but if you haven't peeked into it here and there, I highly recommend it. But it's like it's the yin and yang force that's always interacting within us. We have this yang or yang masculine energy that wants to understand everything naturally, as it should. That's part of it. We want to understand, we want to make sense of our reality. And then we have this yin feminine force that just knows, that's just receptive to it all. That's just very it's the pure source, right? It's just like the void of everything. It's the possibilities, it's all the potential. And it's like these two things that come together that are like us in our human experience. It's not man or woman. It's like the two parts within us that make us who we are. We are a divine, we are a spirit, we are parts of God, but we're also human. We're also physical. We're also limited. We're also, we also struggle. We also have a mind that really desires to understand, but we have the spirit that knows it can never be understood. That's part of it. It's like they have to coexist with each other, but they can never be like, there's things in life that make up what life is about, that is God, that is life. To me, it's like that's the same thing. Like God is life, is responsible for life. That there's always going to be a level that we can never understand and that we can never attain that understanding. Because once we understand the next thing, there's another thing to understand. It's kind of like how we evolve. It's like these inventions, right? It's like something got created and now we're going to understand how this thing, like we understand how computer and Zoom, like, yeah, no problem, makes sense to me. Like, but now there's another thing of like, well, if this was like holographic and I was standing in your house and like I could like smell what you smell and taste but not be there or some weird thing like that would be like, I have no freaking idea how that could ever be possible. And then not to mention all the things that I can't even fathom because I don't even know what I don't know. And so there's always like this next thing, this next thing. And then there's always this doubt. You're like, there's no way. That's not possible. This is not possible. And it's like, where do we have this relationship with doubt and truth? And I guess according to the gene keys, the in between right there is inquiry. And it's like takes a level of of humbleness to know that you're never gonna know fully everything at any time ever. You'll never know. But can you be connected to the truth, to what is true? and what that means. Like the battle, not battle, but like the contrast between the truth and the understanding of this like mystery. Because it's like, okay, well, if I can't understand this mystery, then how do I know that that's real? Like that that's true. And I think this is like a really huge, like, I don't freaking know. Like, I don't know what to tell you beyond this. You're gonna have to sit with this on your own. But I think this is really like funny kind of like religions and all these religions, and they have their way, and their way is the way. And I'm not saying that there isn't a way or that there's not a way. You know, I'm not saying that I know either way necessarily, like what, like I'm not the one that has the final say, you know, but there's this back and forth with so many different people. I mean, each individual has their own idea of what is the truth. But at the end of it, but there's still something that is the truth. So you can have your truth, but that doesn't mean that that's the truth. And I think it's really important to remember that there is a truth that exists that is beyond what we can all decide for ourselves. Because again, we don't know what we don't know, but God knows everything. So that's like the main idea. Um, I feel like I'm making it maybe more complex than it is, but at the end of the day, kind of going back to what I was saying, it's like there's this importance, a high importance to understand that there's things that we can't understand. But we are also not separate from that truth, from that source, and we do have ability to be in connection with that and to use that as a guiding force through life. And it might look your life, you doing that and someone else doing that and someone else doing that, those lives probably are going to look different, but it doesn't really matter what someone else's life is like compared to your life. And the thing is, it's funny because it's like no one can really tell you, oh, you're not living the true connection to God in you because you're doing this. But it's like you can never really make that full assumption. You know what I mean? On like, you shouldn't do that. And this isn't necessarily part of this gene key, but I'm just thinking about this right now because I feel like this is something that people, we all do this. I mean, to an extent where it's like judgments or things of, well, if you are eating this way or if you are living like this, like it's clearly not right. Like you're not going to get to where you want to be. You're not going to have your kids aren't going to be who they're supposed to be if you follow that. Like how's that true? You know, how's this true? How is anything true? I think truth is just such a vast thing right now. But in the context of this gene key, it's talking more about the universal truth and the great mystery that is also within that, and the trust that you have to build, and the the humble inquiry to move through your doubts and to move into trust and to move into surrender. And that eases the mind. And I think that's very helpful to recognize with Virgo too, because Virgo will doubt. Virgo will doubt and analyze. Virgo will inquire as well. But Pisces calls for deep trust, but it's hard to trust if you don't feel really connected to whatever's on the other side of that trust. You know, if you're not building that relationship, creating a relationship, keeping that relationship growing stronger with whatever it is that you choose to do to make that happen, you're not going to, you're going to have a very hard time trusting, and fear along with doubt. But I feel like fear is probably more, they're probably connected, but most people are more okay with doubt than they are with fear, you know. But that will be very strong within you if you do not have the ability to surrender, because life will always bring you things that you won't be able to know why or the next step or any of those questions. Like that's going to happen, you know? And if you don't have trust and surrender into that trust because there's that connection there, life is harder and struggle is there. And maybe that's what he was pointing to in the Ring of Divinity when he said, um, you know, that there's this, like the deep emotional, intense emotional experiences and challenges. Um, because that's like part of this journey, building that bridge. You know, we're not really out. We're here like alone, kind of, you know, but we're not. We're not. That's like a made. That's like an old thing. You know, that's it's time to step into what it means if we were all every person was connected to God and in divine truth and in a loving nature, like the world would not look what it looks like right now. Like it would be a different world. It'd be great. And I think that's what we're moving towards. And we're getting that glimpse, you know, with this eclipse. I'm not saying this eclipse is like world peace. That's it. You know, everything is just going to be revealed, all the truths of everything. Obviously, it's not like that, but we can only do what we can only be responsible for ourselves. So that is it. Um, Yeah, I feel like I talked enough. It's almost 7. So I would love to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you think about all of this, or what you have going on. If you want to share, um, yeah, I'd love to hear that. Oh, and I think Preet put in the comments that proline helps maintain a youthful glow and skin repair. So that's really cool. I'm gonna look into that, um, a little bit deeper because that sounds really interesting.
I like that you focused on the Virgo Pisces axis. That's some good information that I didn't have. And I like that, with most opposites, our task is to hold both. Um, and I like that you focus on both the shadows and the light of each
Hmm.
side of the axis, so we can get into perfectionism and escapism, or we can get into grounding and embodying. And then on the Pisces end, um, our more spiritual focus, and then surrender when we need to.
Yeah.
I wonder if I don't want to like ask you to start a whole new topic or anything, but I'm not clear about how the nodes. I'm not clear about the nodes. I mean, I understand what they symbolize in a chart, and
Hmm.
how I embrace that, but I'm not clear about the eclipses and the nodes. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess the node shifts every year and a half or so, you said, and then the eclipses will be in those signs, the north node and the south node. So the eclipses will be in those two signs. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you actually like a diagram because I too find because the nodes are not like a planet, you know, it's like a point in the sky. It's
Mhm.
like it's like an equation or whatever. Let me see if I can show you and let's try to make sense of this. So, and sometimes I look at these like these diagrams and I'm still just like, I don't know. I don't know how you figure that out, but you know, I'm like, I do the astrology. I don't. Let me see if I can find a really good one. I think this.
Actually, what I can see in this is that there's a lot of good information out there, so I can do research if I want to.
And no worries. And I'm like happy to here. I think one of these. Let's see if I can pull this as a picture. So we have the Earth. Where's the sun? It's just showing us the nodes, not in an eclipse. Let me see if I can find the actual eclipse because it has to do with the ecliptic. line. Oh, here, look. Ooh, the moon's orbit around the sun, and it passed. Oh, that's just showing us the eclipse. It's not showing us the node. So the node is like these points
Uh-huh.
where
Uh-huh.
it crosses over
I see.
because the sun's not always moving, obviously everything is like whatever. It's like moving through different spaces in the sky. Like from our perspective, it's like the sun's it's not rising, setting in the same spot
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Um, and so there's like that interception. So that makes sense. So that's how they calculate it from there. Does
Okay.
that help at all? I don't know if that was helpful or not.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does help. Yeah, it's a good visual.
I need the visual because I'm like, I'm a visual person. So that it's hard for me to explain without that. But yes, cool. What
So
else?
I had a quick question too. So I understand, and I love this whole idea about the collective, what's happening in the collective. But on my chart, I'm currently going through the Leo node. And how would you view a Leo node as it intersects with what we're doing here with what is it, Pisces? So
So Leo is your north node,
yes,
firstly.
yeah.
I'm gonna actually let me share my screen again. So let's just look at a chart in general. This is a chart for the eclipse. So we have like our north node over here. It just helps me get a visual again. So like I need to see. And where's Leo? Leo's all the way over here. Okay. So they are like they're not there is a relationship between these two things, like how we have like Pisces and the Virgo is an opposition, right? It's opposite, and then you have like sextiles, and you have squares. I only really focus on personally the sextiles, the squares, the oppositions, the trines. But there's also ones where you can look at if they're right side by side. I'm not saying that they're not important to look at. I'm saying I personally am like, I want to see the other like because yeah, look at like music notes or something. Degrees apart, they're creating a certain like it's either gonna sound like "Dun," like, oh, that sounds nice. I love that. Or it's like, you're like, that does not sound great. So they're creating like a frequency that's either like kind of hard to like dissonant a little bit, or it's like, ooh, that goes together so good. So this is a little bit dissonant.
Yeah,
You know what
that's
I
what I
mean?
wondered. Yep.
But it's not, but also the thing with this is, well, it have to depend on your whole chart too. I don't know. Do you have Pisces or Virgo in your chart otherwise?
I don't know. Yeah, sorry. I'm so new to this. I can't say if I do or not.
Don't even, that's totally fine.
Eileen, do you want me to say a couple things about your chart? Because I think there are a couple significant things.
And that's fine. And I don't want to hold it up if we had to cancel at or slow down at 7. I was just curious about the
No
interrelationship
problem.
between the archetype and yeah. If you wouldn't mind, Roseanne, that'd be great. She's more familiar with my chart.
Yeah. So she has Virgo on the midheaven, 16 degrees Virgo, the midheaven. So this eclipse would be opposite that, right?
Yeah.
15 degrees Pisces. And then she has um, Venus, 13 degrees Taurus. So that would be sextile, right?
Yeah.
And Mercury, oh no, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Never mind. I looked at it wrong. But she has Mercury 16 degrees Taurus. So that would be the sextile.
Yeah.
So basically opposing her midheaven and sextile her Mercury, Mercury in the sixth.
Is her midheaven in the 10th house?
Yes. Midheaven on the cusp of the 10th house in this
So 10.
Placidus chart.
Oh, okay. What's her rising sign?
0 degrees Sagittarius.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. So let's put one. Yeah. So even in whole sign, it's the 10th house too, because it's at 0 degrees. That makes sense. Yeah, this is like, I mean, even for this year and a half, even since like the beginning of the year, like there is like what you do, the combination of, I don't know if I say that word right. What you have that you have developed in yourself, your gifts, your skills, the things that you have put time and energy into learning, into evolving and creating your own way of doing it, that thing, that gift, the 10th house is about giving that gift into the world. And people see that in you. Sometimes people see that gift in you, you don't see it in yourself. That definitely happens. But a lot of times you might be already in a career that amplifies that gift. Maybe your career is different from what that thing is, but that thing is, it's like you sharing who you are to everybody else so that they can also benefit, so it's like the 10th house is the very top of the chart, and it's like the top of the sky. It's like the sun at noon. We're looking up and we're seeing you shining your light down on us. And you're maybe the most, some would say, visible in the 10th house. It's like the most visible house. It's how everybody gets to get a glimpse of you from the 10th house. So having these eclipses back and forth, because remember, it's not just Pisces eclipse, it's going to be Virgo, Pisces, blah, 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 for a year and a half. There is a connection between your 10th house and your fourth house, which the fourth house now, if the 10th house was the sun at noon, the fourth house is like the center of the earth. And it is grounding you into your home. So the 10th house is like you go out, you go to work, you make a name for yourself, you share your gifts, you build a legacy. You're in charge. You're in charge of what that legacy is because it's your legacy. And people see that and they're able to receive that. The fourth house is like you go home, it's just you, or it's you and your family. It's your physical home, literally. It's your body, which is your home. It's your mother sometimes, which is your first home. But also it's the lineage of what everything that came before you that was compiled over and over of lifetimes of people, of ancestors to make who you are. And that is like your foundation. You were born into that. That is like you spring from that and to create your legacy in the 10th house. So that process is activated very strongly right now with these eclipses for these next year and a half. And has been activated again because it's like we had the Pisces hardcore planets going on for like a long time before, for over, I want to say 12 or 14 years, and I can't remember which one it is. With Neptune, and that was your fourth house then. Oh my God. I would love to hear about that because I'm actually currently, my fourth house is Aries, and now Pisces is in Aries, and Saturn's going into Aries. So now I'm actually going to get a fourth house transit like how you just had. So I'm actually really curious to hear about that sometime, or anything you want to share. You can pop in stuff right now if you want. But that is the North Node is pointing down, right, into your fourth house. It's going back like, okay, we're going to go back and kind of review. It doesn't mean don't go out and live your career, do great things in the world and give your gifts. It does not mean that at all. It just means like those things are more like your anchor into the next thing, which is more internal. It's more like personal. And that's going to go back and forth. That work, that direction is going to feed into what you give to the world and what you shine when you just live your life.
Oh, that's fabulous. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to process this. I don't know if I can share, but
No
it's
problem.
resonating. It is definitely resonating. So thank you.
You're welcome. That's super
Yeah.
exciting. It's great. Awesome.
And thank you, Roseanne, too.
Oh, sure. So I have a question too, and I'm wondering, Nicole, I can't see you because this chart
Oh,
is up.
yeah.
Would you, unless we, oh, thank you.
Yes.
Um, so I have the eclipse is happening in my 11th, and Neptune and Saturn have been transiting my 11th, and I have had a focus for probably a year and a half or so on connecting with new communities, pulling in new communities in my life and new friendships. Um, the goals and aspirations piece of the 11th that needs to come in. I'm slow on that, but so right now the eclipse is happening in my 11th. It is it's square, and again, I have a Placidus house chart, but it's square my moon in Sag in the 7th and my North Node in Sag in the 7th. Um, if you have any thoughts about that, I'd just be curious.
So it's in your 11
Hmm.
and it's square your, what was it? The seventh
Moon,
house?
yeah, square my seventh house moon and north node.
So
I have other things in the seventh, but they aren't as close by degree.
for this specific eclipse at the 15 degrees.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say, what was it again? It was square your what again? Sorry.
My moon and my north node.
Your north node, right. Okay, wow. Yeah. Okay. Is there people that like to me, because it's like the 11th house is people, right? But it's
Mhm.
like groups of people, all these different people coming together for a common thing usually. And then the seventh house is also people, but it's people in one to one, or it could be the public at large, maybe just like not super personal with, or just like the opposite of who you are. It could be people that you're like maybe not even very similar to at all.
Mm.
And there's this kind of connection here happening with these two, but it's not a smooth connection necessarily, but they're kind of both pulling you in this north node type of manner into growth. Um, how do you like, how have you felt about your own personal north node? I guess I would focus on that first and see like in your own life with your own personal north node, which is in the seventh, where do you feel like that is being like where are you pushing yourself? Where are you feeling called to push yourself from your comfort zone, which is your first house, being independent, being doing your own thing, you're comfortable in your own space. Like where are you pushing to move into different relationships, different friendships, different, business partnerships, or just
She's
connecting with people?
laughing. So that's a good question. I feel like, I mean, I am wired for relationship, all kinds of, whether it's, partnership or friendships. I do feel that the one-on-one is my comfort zone. The one-on-one dynamic is my comfort zone. I really feel like in that first relationship marriage I was talking about, I played out all the shadows. I mean, I felt
Yeah.
trapped. I mean, because it's all in Sag, I felt completely trapped.
Hmm.
And then there were all kinds of other things that were shadowy. But and then with my husband who died a few years ago, it was like a lot of the light. It was beautiful, very loving relationship. However, he became incredibly ill, and so there was 12 years of caretaking, and again, I felt trapped. So that's where I feel like, and then he died almost 7 years ago. I'll be 70 in December. And after he died, I went, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going here.
Yeah.
Then friends, Eileen in particular, have said, okay, look, this is part of your path. I mean, it is your North Node. You need to get out there and, start being interested. And I feel a little bit of interest perking up in me, but I kind of don't want to do the work. Like, so that's kind of where I am with
Yeah.
my North Node as I see it right now.
And what if it's like no pressure to make it like that it has to be a romantic relationship, or that it has to be like, because I feel like with Sagittarius too, it's like you're saying, it's like you don't want to, it's like you have felt trapped in different ways in those relationships. And not that you did not love your husband, so dearly, but it was still like this feeling of really craving that expansion. And North Node Sagittarius is like, we're going to experience expansion. It's not necessarily going to be like the easiest little, here you go, bam, that's just what you get. But it's like, where can I go pull towards that expansion? And
Mhm.
that could be in another person being in the seventh house. Maybe there's someone out there that can help amplify that feeling within you. But maybe if there's so much pressure around what it has to be like qualified, a qualified relationship, maybe it's that alone feels like, you know, what if I don't want to do that? What if I don't want to like be in that? What if that's just another version of what I've already experienced that has felt constricting? Um, maybe. I don't know if that makes sense. I would say what I'm seeing maybe is just, doing the things like living your life, right? You're living your life, the new opportunities are coming, different things, different people, groups, maybe travel. I don't know if that's been a possibility for you. Not even necessarily like you have to go travel to some faraway exotic land, but you could, it maybe, if that's in the cards,
Mhm.
something that feels like you're gonna get a little bit of adventure. You're gonna get a little like new thing. Like,
Uh-huh.
how can we like switch up the like if you normally meet someone, you're normally like, I go here, I go here, I go here, I go home, I do this online. What can you add in that feels really expansive and good, but that's like switching it up a little bit? And that alone, you might meet somebody that's like, whoa, that was not someone I ever would have met. I did the same thing. And maybe there's no pressure behind what that means, you know? Um, I don't know. I don't know if that could be a possibility.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that. I do like that.
Take away the pressure,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
everybody's been encouraging me to do the online thing, and I don't want to do that. I do, but in terms of connecting with new people and new communities, I'm up for that. So I like what you're saying, and travel sounds good too.
I would say, I feel like, not that online is not good. I talk to the most people online than way more than in person. But I feel like the in-person new thing is so much more expansive than an online new thing. It can just get like tucked away to the back of your mind, you forget about it. But like the in-person new thing, it's like you're living it, you're like experiencing it, and it sticks with you, whether or
I
not you meet anybody or not, you know.
Right, right, right. You're right. There's more energy for me. I'm not a big online person. I really don't enjoy it. So thank you. That's really helpful reframing.
Yeah, and I would, you can like focus on the current North Node, but again, it's like this is just like the collective push. If we're just like, all right, everybody, go over here, and for some people, it's like, oh my God, this was everything I needed. This was huge. This was like hitting on these points that are just like so impactful. And not that it's not, can't do that for you as well. Like, everyone's going to have these little moments. But I also think that like our personal North and South node, that's what we are living with all the time,
Mhm.
and that's something we can work with that's really feels really relevant to us, all the time.
Yes.
And also, it's just you don't need to do anything because of astrology either.
Yeah.
As long as it's like this is feeling expansive and freeing and helpful, then that's the perfect place for it to come.
That's a great guideline. Expansive, freeing, and helpful.
Yes.
Thank
Mm.
you. Thank you
You're
so much.
you're welcome. So exciting. It sounds fun just talking about it. Like that sounds Ventures are just always a good time switching it up. But I'm curious to see or to hear um if you try any different things or go any different places. That'd be really fun. All right, you guys. Anybody else want to say anything before we close her down?
I'll just say thank you. That was really good. And I feel like I don't know enough about what's going on in my chart anyway at the moment, but I feel like everything's obviously starting to move into a bit of a flow from the stagnant place. And I'm grateful for the spring energy that's coming. And I do have the 63, and um, there's noise happening here too now. I just love sometimes how all of those things kind of cycle in together, like even down to the amino acid. It's
Yeah.
just everything kind of coming in, and just the whole ajna kind of area too, and the doubt, the truth, the inquiry, and it,
Yeah.
um yeah, just, and what was it, reaching the source.
Yeah.
I feel like at the moment everything is kind of doing a lot of that for me, and because of the Virgo and the Pisces, and just that interconnection between the groundedness and the higher energies too.
Yeah.
And there's so much coming up for me, now that I'm in my refeeding stage, and I'm going into an even deeper freaking detox, and I haven't been sick forever, and feeling like I'm constantly in this state of unwellness. I don't know.
Are you a Gemini rising? Is that right? Or
Yeah.
so this is like the same but opposite of Eileen. Or it's the same but opposite because your fourth house is Virgo and then your
My
10th house is Pisces.
Oh, okay.
So it's that same axis. So it's like related. But right now, instead of your fourth house being activated, your 10th house is getting that like, which is like that gift shining down, visibility, career, if you want to like group it with career, but more than career, it's like how you're known for being just like in general without even doing anything special. But also could tie into this direction towards wait, yeah, Spicy your 10th house, this direction towards the career, towards what, like, how are you establishing the gifts and the things you've accumulated through your life and the skills and the passions and the tribulations and who you've developed yourself to be that is able to be like gifted out. Like, how some people will like put everything into a book or they'll, whatever it is, it's like the result of your life's work. That's like part of the 10th house,
Yeah.
which is why it's associated with career.
Yeah. And what you were just saying before, like a culmination of everything kind of all fusing together or weaving together in some facet.
Yeah. So it's
And
like,
yeah, I feel like I'm looking to that. I mean, I know it'll just organically happen for me, but I feel like this whole manifesting generator thing and the multitude of gifts that I have will all merge soon at some point. But yeah, I've still got some cleaning of this house to do at the moment,
yeah.
and
And
get the hell out of this house as well.
it makes sense too, because it's like the fourth house is part of this eclipse, these eclipses, part of the nodes in the house. The fourth house is the house, it's your house, literally your house.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that gets changed soon. It feels like it's really close, and maybe that by the end of this month, maybe with that Virgo eclipse, some things will shift and you'll
Well,
get some.
you did say early on in the year that September would be a significant time.
Last September was the Pisces lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
A year in September from now. Is that what you're asking?
No, this September. So you
This
said to
September.
me that this September would be significant.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, right. I mean, there's definitely, can't say for sure, but if you're looking just at the astrology, it would make sense for things to be either cleared away or situated or something to budge around that, around your house, around your home, around those things.
Yeah.
Makes sense that that would happen.
Yeah.
And it seems like things are starting to shift. It seems like
Oh, definitely.
so maybe it'll just be that last kick that it's like, okay, cool, now here we go. So
Yeah. Yeah.
just in time for spring.
All evening, Preet, I've been noticing your eyes look so much brighter. They just look stronger. I see a stronger energy coming from your eyes than I have seen before. And I've only seen you on these, Zooms, so not like I know you, but that's just what I'm seeing on Zoom compared to the other Zooms we've been on.
So I did the 77-day fast, just drinking the pasteurized grape juices, so doing the master fast system. And I'm 1 week now into mono watermelon. And
So
as I said,
I wonder if that's if there's a clarity in your body now and it's coming through your eyes.
yeah, I can see it as well. There's lots of healing that still needs, now that I understand iridology a lot more, there's heaps that need to shift in there. And who knows what my eyes will look like in a year. Hopefully all the stagnant lymph has gone, because I've got lots and lots of stagnant lymph in there. But thank you for noticing, Roseanne.
Yeah, yeah.
Not feeling very vibrant right now, though. I actually feel like I've swung back into how my body used to feel when I had fibromyalgia. So I'm hoping to get some vitality back very quickly.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
The end,
spring will help, hopefully.
yeah. Well, the last part of this year is going to be really big too, because we'll be moving house. I'm getting married, and lots of things are happening. So
Oh my
let's
goodness.
lots is lots is happening that I need vitality for, and we're doing a few festivals as well. And I've got a yoga training that I need to be really vital for.
A lot. Yeah.
That's really exciting. I just Cedar Creek. You guys don't know her, or Roseanne, you don't know her. She's part of the same community that me and Preet are in. I did never, I think I talked to her like one time on Zoom. She's kind of newer and she was gonna come and then she messaged me like 20, 30 minutes ago that she couldn't get in the Zoom for some reason and or something like that. So I told her that we were wrapping up now. I sent her the Zoom link. I'll see if she jumps in. You guys don't have to stay though, if you don't want, or we can keep talking about stuff for a couple minutes. I can see if she wants to just pop in and say hey for a second. Otherwise,
I
what?
was just going to say, it'd be nice to see her face, just because I've seen so many comments coming up now, and she's communicating
Yeah.
with me on quite a few of the things I've written.
Yeah, she's really active in there and she seems really nice. We're actually doing a workshop together, even though
Oh,
we
I
haven't talked about we haven't really talked yet to solidify it, but it's going to be about dreams.
oh,
So that's her idea, and she asked if I would do a workshop, and I was like, we could co-host a workshop, which should be really fun. Um, so that's
will you,
on the 12th.
will you bring Gene Keys into that somehow, or what do you think you're going to do?
Julia in the waiting room? I don't yet. I wasn't going to.
Oh, my friend
Hi,
Jill.
hi, Julia. Can you hear us?
Yes, my phone, it's all turned over.
Nicole, I need to go. I need to eat dinner. So,
Yes, no
Eileen,
problem.
you look like you need to go too. So,
I know I was eating my dinner, I was trying to anyway, but this was wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it was wonderful being with all of you. So thank you. And Julia, I'm sorry.
I'm too late. I know. I
Yes,
don't know how to
but
work anymore.
No problem,
Oh,
guys. Have
but
a great day.
yes, thank you so much. This was really, really good.
You're welcome. And I'll have the recording. And Julia, I have this recorded, so
ah, thank you.
you will be able to catch everything that we talked about.
Thank
All
you.
right. Guys, go enjoy your dinner.
thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Are you going to wait a moment to see if Cedar comes in?
Um, I haven't heard back from her, so we'll probably just
Wrap it up.
yeah, because I gotta my kids are kind of like running around the house. They gotta
Oh,
get
okay.
ready for bed. But Julia, it was nice to see you in here. We will have another for the other eclipse workshop will be on, hold on, I have my calendar. Where is it? Um, it's on the 19th, which is also a Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I'm not sure your time zone.
So 8,
Um,
8 a.m. 8 a.m. for us.
8 a.m. Then it would be the 20th then for you.
Yes, 8 a.m. Saturday morning.
So that's the 20th. And I have this recorded so I can make sure that it gets to you, is available for you if you want to rewatch it. The eclipse isn't until Sunday. So, and it's still going to be like a relevant energy for a while. All right.
What?
I know Zoom can be kind of tricky to figure out sometimes. My other friend that was going to come in, she was struggling to come in too. She was like, I don't know how to do the Zoom thing. I don't know what happened, but no worries. I'm gonna actually end recording now.